Teddy.
This is Nicole. Welcome to Beyond the Grind.
Let's talk about it.
Pretty much so much has happened, right?
Yes.
Like the other weekend, my mom's birthday's in June, so we celebrate her all month.
Yeah, I remember you said that. It's close to my dad's birthday.
Yeah, you said your dad's birthday. Don't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
You said your dad's birthday is it the 18th?
Yes. Now, but I don't remember your mom's. Hold on. Is it just, it's 2 or 3 days before that? The 16th?
20.
The 21st?
3rd.
Oh, okay, I'm off.
No, you're fine. You got a lot of information in your head.
Yes.
Charge it to your head, not your heart. So we celebrate her own month. So this whole month we've been coming up with ideas of tiny little things to do. So the first week that we all got together, we went hiking. Have you gone to White Clay Creek Park?
White Clay, yes, yeah.
So we went to the park and it was amazing. We had a picnic. Like we literally brought some blankets. My sister.
I tell you, your family be doing it, man.
You know, family time. So did yours. But it was like, my sister made this collapsible picnic basket that also turned into a table when she took everything out of it. So the legs popped out.
Oh, she made it.
Yeah, you know, she's a woodworker. We did that. But when I say we went on the hiking trail, and you know how they have these dedicated trails that are already for us to walk on. There's paths.
Yeah, the path.
That someone has already etched out for us.
Yes.
So there was like 4 different paths, and my nephew and my sister were leading the pack. And it was all of the grandkids. It was my brother. It was all of us together, right?
Yeah.
They decided to go off trail. We were in the woods for 2 hours. Sun started to get.
Oh, y'all got it.
Listen, the sun started setting. Yeah. Like, first of all, anyone knows me with my vision. Like, I can't see at night. I really can't. Landon didn't want to walk anymore. So I was carrying on my book bag like a whole first aid kit. Like I had ACE bandages. I had their EpiPens.
Y'all got lost.
Yeah, we were like in there. And I was like, this is the setup of every scary movie that you see.
Right.
That like, we're not splitting up. Yeah, because my sister and my nephew, they were like, we should split up. Yeah. We should see who gets out first. One person goes right. I was like, no, this is the setup for death. We can't do that. But so Sophia was like, I can't take another step because she thought that was hopeless, right?
Right.
And there was a path, and I think it was the Carpenter path or whatever. It's a brown path. Or we could walk once we realized how lost we were,
right? And
we realized the sun's about to set in like a whole nother hour. It was either that we could walk back that same way that we just left,
right?
Or we could take this other path. And so
I would have went the other path.
The group was split where it's like, let's just go back the way we came.
Yeah.
We already knew that was over an hour of how to get back.
Yeah.
And then, or we could just walk this new trail and decide, we should walk the new trail. So Jay was like, let's just go to the new trail.
Yeah.
So he ended up winning out. So we walked the new trail. And guess what?
You was at the end of it already.
It was at the end.
Yep.
But we were about to waste our time.
Going backwards.
Going back because it was familiar. Because we felt as though we already walked that path. And we were willing to waste our time because we were nervous about taking this unknown path that someone has already created for us.
Wow.
And that resonated with me where it was like, one, it was so many lessons in that hiking adventure in addition to, I'm not as out of shape as I thought. Because like, it was like our group was split, the youngs and the olds.
Yeah.
Like, Danielle and them were running through the woods like warriors, and I was like right behind them. But then I had to make sure like my mom and Jay, my brother, like I was like, we can't split up. So I'm like, slow down. So I was like the middle person. But the lessons that I really got in it was the whole path thing.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, the other lesson I got was like how often in life, like our paths have like someone has already given us a blueprint of how to follow it.
Right.
And I'm talking about like God, like saying, do this, walk in your purpose, walk in your dreams, do this, don't do that. Right. And oftentimes we create our own way because we want it to be done like our way. And it's like, we don't want to go those paths.
Yeah.
then we get so lost and we're like, now we're panicking.
Yeah, you get scared.
Yes, and that's
you like running in the dark. Like he's like
they didn't want to take the lead anymore because the sun was setting. Everyone's battery was dying on their phone because I was recording the whole thing. So we're like, if we're lost, the kids were hungry. So we're like, if we're lost in here, we're done, right?
Yeah.
So it's like now nervousness has gotten like crept in when you decided to go off path. And it's like in life we do that so many times,
right?
Where we sometimes got to take that step and that leap of faith of walking in the path that was meant for us.
Yeah, the path you were supposed to go.
That path that we were supposed to go. That's meant for us, and being willing to walk a new path,
right?
Versus going back and wasting our time and taking longer.
Everything you just came through.
Because if we would have went back, right, we wouldn't have gone to the end. We would have started over.
Right.
It would have took us back to the beginning. So we.
And then if you would have went back to the end, who knows? Like you could have got lost again.
Exactly.
Or it could have been something new in the path.
Yeah, because
a bear could have jumped out.
Right. No, because honestly, we were so off path. We were walking through thorns.
Yeah.
And then it's like so much, rubbish. It's like, okay, is there a snake in there?
Right.
And then this is the part that really gets us. Sometimes we go off path and we take others with us.
And when you were saying this, what I was thinking about was when you talked about Jay.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the chaotic situation happens, a lot of the times you can sense who a natural leader is because that person comes forward when everybody else is in fear. It takes a brave soul to do that.
Yeah.
And this is reminding me of a story that I heard where there was a guy that got captured in the military.
Okay.
And he was to face the firing squad in the morning. And the morning came and they got him out of his cell, and they walked him out to the yard and they said, you got two choices. You can either take that door to the left or face the firing squad. What's the two choices they gave him?
I'm gonna go to the left.
Well, he chose to face the firing squad. And somebody asked the general after the firing squad did what they did, they said, what was the door to the left? And the general said the door to the left was the door to freedom. Had he opened that door and walked out, he would have been free. But he'd rather take the path that was in front of him, just like you said, because obviously you already know what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
So why not just walk right back down the path that you just went through instead of taking
something new?
Yeah.
And that's what we do in life. We can see all the signs are leading to try something new.
Right.
Because what you're doing is just not working. And it's almost like that thing of fear where we're paralyzed, and it's like, because this is familiar, this is all I know, like I want to do it. And it's like we have to get to a certain point where we have to unlearn the things that we didn't realize we were taught.
Yes.
In a sense of like all these things we have gotten through life and from the examples, because a lot of times when you're growing up, you learn from what you see rather than what you're told.
Exactly.
So we mimic the behaviors that we've seen, before us,
right?
Versus saying, all right, you know what, that didn't work for them, and that was their life,
right?
Let me try something completely new for a path that's meant for me.
Yeah.
And my path is not going to look like your path. And in a sense, I also don't want to go back where I came from.
Right.
Like the whole point of us going through the trail was to walk through it, not to return back.
And also the experience behind it.
Exactly.
You wasn't placed in a position where you was forced to go out and do this. You all went out to do it because it was an experience.
Exactly.
And not even just an individual experience. It was a collective experience together.
A great team building one.
Team building, and you get to see new things. You get to sense new things, smell new things, and experience the whole situation. And even through the adversity of it, it puts you in a position where it was a growth position, where it's like, okay, we get to see the outcome of each individual based on what happened. You didn't go down this path planning for it to go wrong. It's just like life.
Yeah.
You kind of dream what you want to accomplish. Some people say, I want to be a doctor. Some people say, I want to be a dentist, or I want to be a lawyer. And you go down this path, and just like what happened to you all, you start getting down it and you realize, I'm lost. Is this what I really want to do?
Yeah.
And I think it goes to what, you and I was discussing yesterday, in reference to living within what God placed in your heart.
Exactly.
That you should be doing.
Exactly.
And I think most people have the feeling or the vibe of the thing that they are like most passionate about doing. Like if they could do nothing else in the world, they know inside their heart
what gives them, what ignites them.
Yes. And that peace that you find in your heart that ignites you is the gift that God gave you to give to the world. And it's up to you to walk in that.
I agree. I definitely agree. Even if you take it from the paths that we have to choose and everything like that, I also think of like when you are dating, right, in a relationship, and let's say you've been with a person for so many years and it's familiar and you know it's not for you, but because this is comfortable, right, that you don't want to take the unknown path of sometimes walking alone and being by yourself. Sometimes everyone thinks the new path is somebody new, right, where I think the healthiest thing is to be with you, like be with yourself, right? Experience life with yourself and be whole by yourself. But we're so stuck on what we're used to and what was familiar and what we already done. It's like, well, I invested this much time that I'm not turning back now. But you realize you're getting further and further in darkness, and you're bringing more people along this journey, which is actually more traumatizing for them. I mean, luckily it was an experience that I thoroughly enjoyed. Like I took a stick with me. I found a walking stick because my son didn't want to walk anymore. So I had to hold him, right? And it was like that. I needed that walking stick for her. So
and
support.
And it was a lot of like lessons in it.
Yeah, you got to see how people work in. I like to see how people thrive in, I don't want to say in chaos, but in panic.
Yes.
Like, what do people like? What is your innate, reaction to when something is not perfect?
Yes.
How, like you said with Jay, stepping up, like, guys, let's just take this path.
Yeah.
And seeing how people push themselves.
Yeah, and then stepping up and saying that, but then also having everybody believe in it. They say, okay, well, we trust you enough that we believe that you will bring us out based on the decision that you're making. And then also that person that made the decision, in this case it was Jay, he also knew subconsciously that if he said, let's go this way and I'm wrong, it's all going to fall back on me. Yeah. But he had the faith and belief that I'm not going to lead my people to the wrong way. I'm going to have faith that this is going to give us desirable outcome that we need to get out of this mess. And that's huge.
It is. I learned even during that experience almost in my personality. So I believe that I have leadership qualities, right? But a great leader, like, I don't always have to lead, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So I realized when I'm with my comfort zone and people who have proven that I can trust, like I was kind of like in the middle of the pack and I kind of wasn't paying attention to even realize that we were off trail. I was recording nature. I was making sure everyone was fine. So I didn't realize that we were even lost.
Now, where was Jay's position?
He was in the back.
Now.
He said a good leader leads from the back.
Yes.
He needs to watch out for the surroundings. Because at first I'm like, well, shouldn't you be in front? I was like, in my mind, been watching nature shows. Yes. I was like, what if there's a bobcat tracking us and they're waiting for the kids to be separate and they're going to come and just snatch them? What? Dramatic.
Yes.
But that's what I saw in my head.
Because the nature, like that, it's crazy you say that. Like the animal kingdom will teach you a lot.
Yeah, they do.
Because even the way Jay just led, like I was reading and it was talking about like the Canadian geese and how the leader of the pack leads from the back so that he can watch how all the other geese are flying. And if any of them are lagging along, he'll come up, say something to them so that they can continue to stay on pace.
See, I always felt like when you talk about leading, it's like you should be in front telling us what to do. And it's like, no, a good leader delegates.
Right.
So there were so many lessons I learned, like, oh, snap. Because I'm thinking like the leader, like, no, I got to follow your footsteps.
Right.
No, like in a sense, a leader, he's observing.
Right.
Because I guess also my question I'm going to follow up with is like, who would you be in the midst of, like, what position do you play when it comes to, because in my mind,
that's a good question.
I was the health person. I had a whole backpack full of first aid stuff where if something went wrong, all right, I have this. I had extra waters. I had snacks for anyone sugar. I had all of that. I had my pepper spray and I had a knife with me.
Oh, Lord.
I know.
That's a good question. I mean, one thing that I believe is that I tap into the core strength of the people around me.
Okay.
In this case, like if it was a situation where I didn't know the people, I would operate under my own natural instincts and sixth sense. But if it was a situation where I know the people, like I know the core strength of individuals, just like you know about me, is like if I know somebody that's a genius at a computer or setting up a printer, I'm not even going to waste a half an hour trying to do it. I'll let that person do it. So like just by knowing the key strength of the people, if it was me in that situation, one thing I understand about like being a leader is that the number one reasons why a true leader fails is failure to move out of your own way. So if I understand the core strengths of the people around me, I'm going to let them implement those strengths. So I won't necessarily have to be the leader. For example, if I'm in a situation like that and I know I'm with, my son, he's a methodical, deep thinker. So what I would do first is I would ask the opinions of everyone, similar to what you all did. Like what y'all think we should do. Yeah. And then I think out of that, the leader will arise.
Yeah, it's like you realize in the beginning, in the time of leadership, you'll see who the alpha is. Yes. Because I honestly, when I'm with my family, I'm very I don't feel the need, like out in the streets and in work life, I feel like, I have to show up as right? Yeah. But when I'm around like my family, I like to be soft. Right. I want to be I don't know. I'm a damsel. I just don't want to have to. But when it comes to my kids, I'm very protective. Right. So everything I was doing was like, I was thinking it was too many children. First of all, it was like 6 children. Yeah. So in my mind, it's like, okay, I already devised a plan on how to protect all of them if it was of this. So that's why I was like, I needed that big walking stick. Yeah. Like my walking stick was like nice, solid, thick, and long.
You was traveling on the defense.
I was.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but I also have to check myself sometimes because I will miss the moment. Yeah. Because I'm always thinking of like, well, what if this happens? And it's like, you're missing the moment. Right. By thinking don't allow yourself to be so fearful of something that hasn't even shown a sign that will happen. You know,
that was my. You know what? That's the quote that I was looking for. Really? I got to remember. Yeah, I mean, I read the quote, and it said, "Don't let the fears of today affect the memories of tomorrow." So it's crazy you said that, because that was the quote that I was trying to find when I told you I forgot something.
See, God knew that you didn't need to read it; that it was just going to be said.
Yeah, I just thought that was so deep. Like, don't let the fears of today affect your memories of tomorrow.
But that reigns so true. Because, like I said, I have to check myself. I do that sometimes because I'm like, in my mind, I don't feel like it's fear. It's like I always want to plan for the unknown. I want to be prepared. I don't want to be, and it's like, all right, Nicole, you're not God. That's what you have to leave the faith to. Where like you can prepare as much as you can, but don't miss out on the moment preparing. That while you're gathering everything, like all this stuff has moved around because you're too busy saying, well, this can happen. And I never want to be a person that allows my fears to trickle down to my children. Yeah. So in chaos or in crazy situations, I'm very like stoic.
Yeah, because they looking toward you to see how you respond.
Honestly, no one's probably ever going to really see my fear. Yeah, like I'm gonna be so calm. Like when we went walking after dinner, and I had the children, and for some reason it's so frustrating because people don't leash their dogs.
Yeah, that bothers me too.
Yeah, it's a pet peeve of mine. Yeah, especially when you're talking about bigger dogs, right? Yeah. So we're walking in the neighborhood, and my children are ahead of us. And my 2 older ones, my son is in the wagon and he just wants to be pushed. He only likes to be pushed until we get to the last street and then he walks.
He want to get out and walk.
Yeah, then he wants to walk.
He wants to sightsee.
He don't want no one to hold his hand. Yeah. But other than that, push him in his stroller. Yeah. And then he'll ask for my iPhone and I'm like, no, baby, I want you to look at what's around you. But so I'm watching what's ahead of me and I see the dog in the corner because I'm kind of on the side, not on the sidewalk. They're on the sidewalk. I'm on the side just so I can see around them. And then there's a dog in the corner, and I'm not a good dog person, so I think it was like a Labrador mix, but it had no leash on them, and I didn't see a owner.
Right.
So I was like, Sophia, stop. And she just stops because I've been teaching them like, you have to be very aware to authorities' voices.
Right.
So if I'm saying something, I don't want you to question authority. If you know I'm saying something, I just need you to listen. And I'll bring up why that's important to me, to teach them about that. But so she stopped, didn't ask questions, and Haley stopped because she was a little behind. I say to Jay, I'm like, there's a dog up there. So he speeds up and walks ahead of us. One, he's not scared of dogs. I am. So he walks ahead, and the dog starts running towards him. And then the dog was just sniffing him. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then I see the owner run out, and then the dog comes over towards me, and it starts coming over to my kids. So all I could think was like to position my body, and he was just sniffing. Thank God it was a friendly dog. But in my mind, I'm always deep on like, okay, if danger was to happen, I'm petrified of dogs, especially people I don't know.
Right.
But you would have never known. I kept a smile on my face because Sophia's reading my energy. She ran
if you would have got all
and got in the wagon and got underneath, like, of the bottom of the wagon, because it's a 4-person wagon, and Haley got in there. But it's like they're vibing off my energy, and I'm very like, that's okay, girls. And I position my body. On the inside, I'm like, But on the outside, you would have never known, because I just don't feel as though it's fair to transfer how I feel to someone else.
No, I agree with that. I mean, that's the conversation that I have. Because I was talking about like Steve Irwin. That was Irwin, I think.
Is that the
crocodile? The crocodile.
Yeah, crocodile.
Yeah, and
back in the Aussie.
I think like a lot of times parents, because you're afraid of something like bugs, for example, you would transfer it to the kids. And then the kids be like, "Oh my God, there's a bee in there," and they go all crazy. And it shouldn't be that, because, like, on the other hand, the other parent, it might not even bother them. You might not even care about bees, bugs, snakes. And all. So, like, even if it bothers you, like you just said, if you don't transfer it, then to the kid, it's not like an issue. As they continue to grow older, it's like, oh, it's just a bee.
Exactly.
Like Steve Irwin's kids. Like, they don't got no fear about animals.
His son actually is following his footsteps. So is his daughter.
Yeah,
I watched the Netflix special. But no, honestly, like, for me, I just don't want to transfer my feelings onto them. And but what I won't also do is minimize how they feel. For instance, Landon was running, and I don't know how many times I say, stop running up on our patio, which is concrete.
Yes.
I'm like, stop running up here, baby. We have a whole thing of grass. Like, run in the grass. So because he's a great 3-year-old, he listens, right? Not. So he ran up there and he fell. And I'm like gardening. So I turn around and I hear Sophia like, oh my gosh. And Jay's running over to him, and he's just like, he didn't move. Like, he's just sitting there, not moving.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, did he not hurt himself, or is it shock?
Right.
And I look down, I see all this blood on his legs.
Oh man.
He skinned his knees really bad. Like, it was all white. It was like, you know, where it stays white until it starts until it turns red.
And then you see that light red lines
and then
coming
it starts,
through. And you're like, oh my God.
And then he busts out
That's
crying.
when it starts burning.
So then I'm like, it's okay, baby. I said, are you okay? Are you okay? I hate telling my children, oh, you're fine.
Right.
Oh, no. And it's like, I don't care if you're, like, I don't take that thing of, boys are tougher. No, they bleed the same.
Yes.
Now, do I want my children to stay stuck in their emotions, stuck in their pain? No.
Right.
But is it up to me to determine when your pain has
subsided?
Has expired? Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So it's, are you okay?
Right.
Are you feeling better?
Right.
Like, what happened? Why'd you do that? Remember, mommy said, don't do that because this will happen.
Right.
I don't like telling my children how to feel when it comes to situations. One of my children are petrified of bugs. The other one loves it, loves nature.
Right.
It's not up to me to make her like her other sibling, right?
Right.
It's up to me to navigate of, don't be paralyzed by it. All right, if you don't like it, but don't let it stop you if you want to do something, because there's a bug out there.
Right.
But you don't have to be around them.
Yeah.
I don't want to ever transfer my energies onto them, because no one will know. I'm pretty much scared of everything that is not human.
That's not human.
I'm telling you. Like, I'm scared of bees, bugs.
Yeah.
But my children have me out there catching stuff for them. On the inside, I'm like, oh,
right.
I hate it. But I don't want to transfer how I feel to them. And that comes with the things I like and the things I don't like.
Yeah.
I want them to learn by my behaviors and choose their paths.
That's deep. And it goes to saying about like planting the seeds for kids. Like we can plant so much into our children.
Yeah.
Like just like how I did with my son. Like I will always tell him consistently, like, you're a genius, you're a genius.
Exactly.
Now that he's 13,
he actually is really a genius.
Yeah. Really, and in his mind, you can't tell him anything different. He wants to always consistently overachieve. I pick him up from school. I'm like, he's like, oh, I took my final today. I'm like, what you get? He's like, oh, I got 93. He's like, but man, I could have did better, But so he's always striving. In his mind, he's just, So it also goes to show, like you're saying, not by transferring it, like, because kids will see things that the parents do.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, well, you're doing that, so I should do that. But essentially, we can plant the seeds that we want to be planted for our kids, so that they can implement them and transition, further in life.
Yeah.
Instead of us just saying, you have to do this because
I said
it,
so.
Or I said it. You know what I mean?
No, I do agree.
Like, yeah, I want my son to be really good at football like I was, but academics is what he likes. So it's like, all right, let's
nurture that.
Yeah, let's like you said before, you have to meet people where they are. And I think that's very, very important.
Yeah.
And then, like, I always talk to my people about, like, I think one of the greatest things that you can do is multiple things, and these are just my thoughts, but one of the greatest thoughts that I really like and that I give to people is like telling them, like, I'm proud of you. Because obviously we was together yesterday, and I saw the young lady that went to school with me.
Yes. That was a genuine interaction.
Yes. And she was, overcoming different things that she was experiencing in life with addiction.
Yeah.
And I sent her a message, and she did like the message, but she said, oh, I didn't even see it. So I had to tell her to her face, I'm proud of you. And she specifically said, thank you, because you don't know, like, somebody saying that they're proud of you is like amazing to me.
Yeah, you know why? Because there's subtle things that people feel as though like have been hurdles that they accomplish, and by someone acknowledging, like, hey, I see you.
Yes.
Like what you're doing is being seen. Your progress, like you're on the right path.
Yeah,
and it's almost like that. That okay. That incentive that I need to keep going because now I know eyes are looking at me.
People are watching.
Yeah.
Me. And the second thing to that coincides with what you're saying is, I believe that the greatest gift you can give someone is the one they don't expect. So what you just said coincides with someone saying, like, I'm proud of you. So now I'm being watched. So it's a gift for me to ultimately want to succeed in what I'm trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Deep.
It is. And back to when I said I'll come to that part, the one thing I do want my children to always understand is the importance of God and the authority of someone outside of earth, right? Because man's going to fail you. I'm going to mess up.
Yep.
I'm not perfect.
Yep.
I know it's hard, guys. Calm down. But I'm not
No human is perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm perfectly imperfect.
Yes.
Is the way I say it. So I want them to be so aware of authority that when you hear the authority of God, you stop.
Right.
And that's why I'm very deep on, like, I don't parent in a kind of way of ask no questions.
Right.
You can ask me questions, but don't question me. There's a difference.
Yes.
So it's like, ask me questions. And if you need understanding and clarification, as much as I can, I'm going to give it to you. But there's certain things that is my job not to clarify because it's that umbrella of protection where if you knew why I was doing it, it would blow your mind. So you got to trust the fact of, hey, when mommy takes this tone and I'm saying it in this way, adhere to that. That's the lessons that I can push. I don't even so much even push like, and when daddy says, because I feel as though it's important for them to learn that from daddy's voice. I don't like parenting from a stance of teaching, like explaining the other parent. Right. Because it's going to come a time, like I just don't, I don't know how other people parent, but that for me, it just doesn't work. Right. I can only explain me and my motives.
You've mastered the concept of children.
No, I'm still learning.
Well, you give a lot of different strategies, like all the time.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Which most people wouldn't even think about. Mm-hmm. So you'll have a book about it someday.
And then you know what's funny? Even as great as I think I'm doing, they're gonna come back and say, "Well, hey, you didn't do this." But like yesterday, I like doing check-ins.
Right.
Guys, is there anything I can do better? Is there anything that you want to get off your chest? Mm-hmm. One of my children were like, "Yeah, we always go to this person's restaurant, and I want to go to a restaurant I like." I'm like, noted. Thank you. Duly noted. Thank you for expressing that to me, and I will now adhere to that.
Yeah,
how you feel matters. Yeah. That's how I ended it. How you feel matters.
Yeah, and I think they appreciate it.
They did.
That's dope.
Yeah, when they told me that you're the best mommy, and if I could choose a mommy, I would choose you. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
Y'all gonna be hiring Nicole soon one day.
No, listen, I'm still parenting has made me unlock a whole new character inside of me.
Right.
It's like new character unloading. Pop, 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 pop. So no, it challenges me to one, like that's my biggest accountability is being a parent and making sure that my will is stronger than my desires. And making sure that what they are seeing is also followed by what I am saying.
Right.
And it definitely has challenged me in ways and stretched me in ways that I didn't realize I needed it.
Yes.
So I needed this new notch, right? It's a whole new me outside of the Nicole woman.
Right.
But I always tell my children, like, before I was your mom, I was a woman. And that actually is what gave me grace to even forgiving my dad for certain things. Because before he was my dad, he was a man.
A man, yeah.
Who was dealing with his own issues.
Right.
And when you can separate that of your parent being this superhero who is perfect, who can't do anything wrong, you give grace and say, oh, before you were this, you were just a man.
Right.
You just had a title added to you, but it didn't change who you are.
I think it shocked you. I mean, you and I was talking about this, like the time flies by.
It does.
And it still even surprises me. I'm like, I can't believe I'm
Mr. Somebody.
Yeah, Mr. Somebody. I can't believe I'm a dad.
I know.
You know, like just remembering like youthfulness, like playing football or, you know,
being able to come in and go when you want.
Yeah,
spend your money on you, knowing like,
right,
I ain't got no body, like it's just me.
Right.
Now
and then now you know everything you do, you're like you don't even think about you first anymore.
No, you factor in them. But that's a good parent though, because they are your responsibility.
Right.
So everything you should do should factor in them. That's why I don't do reckless stuff. Because I'm like, if something happens to me, they could lose a mom.
Yeah.
Like, is it worth it? Is it worth me really going in this ocean? And like when we used to go to the beach, it was like the thrill.
I'm going in the ocean.
Really?
I'm taking my son too.
I'm going ankle deep because mine used to be the thrill because I know how to swim. Now, when I can't touch the bottom, that was fun.
Here's the question.
What is it?
Because we talked about it.
Okay.
Going out this door to the unknown.
The ocean is not a door. But what I will say is, will I stop them? No.
Now, what if you reach down when you're in the ocean?
Okay.
And you step on something and you pick it up and it was the world's largest pearl that was ever found. But just because you didn't step in the ocean, you missed it.
Okay, so let me give some clarification here.
Okay.
One, I wear aqua shoes in the ocean because Delaware waters are nasty.
Me too.
So, ever since I went to Jamaica, I feel privileged where I'm like, I don't want to go to dirty water beaches. So I'm not tempted to touch that water.
Jamaica beaches is dirty.
But they look pretty. And
I stepped on a nail that went through my foot in Jamaica.
Okay, but listen, you have to go to the part where you can see through the beautiful tropical water. Yeah. So that's what I like doing. In addition to that, I don't have this need or desire to seek this thrill, right? So for me, swimming out until I couldn't touch the bottom and the waves take me, like we used to like going to the beach when it was about to storm and the waves
get real choppy.
So it's starting to thunder.
Oh, you get me excited now.
Yeah. So that's what we did. Yeah. And it was so reckless.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Right.
Watching everybody. Where the waves would take them, they kept getting smashed.
Yeah, you end up all the way down. You don't even know
you went out.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
It's like when you beautiful. Go for the opportunity, because it's there,
and
you're living in the opportunity, and before you know it, you left all of the other stuff behind.
You left it. You're living in the moment, right?
Yeah, you done washed all the way down the beach.
But my moment has changed. Now I have a responsibility, and it's not just me.
So you're the one that's sitting on the sand, watching to make sure nothing happened.
I'm old now. Remember, we discussed it. Age has set in. When I go to the beach, I'm going with a book and I'm taking a nap.
Yeah.
And I mean some boardwalk fries and some saltwater taffy.
Or you gonna pay $6,000 for the umbrella. Like
I have my own umbrella.
See, we had to do that because to get the chairs and the umbrella, like on the beach, it was like $75.
It's ridiculous.
Listen, 3 hours.
I'm gonna tell you, like before Delaware had this law, right? We used to go to the beach and we had bought this tent from Costco.
Yeah.
And listen,
they did pass that law.
Yeah, so our tent was literally it was like a 12 by 12.
Yeah.
So we would set our tent up so you could still feel the sand all in the bottom.
Yeah.
It had like windows. So it was like that mesh kind of. So it wasn't like the white tent. I'm telling you, it was like it was a beach tent that they sold, and we had it set up where, and then inside we put like a plastic pool,
right,
for the kids so they could play.
And play inside there, and the sand
castle.
People
would walk by, and then we had our music hanging from the top, and they would be like, it's decent in there. So when they passed it, we were like, come on, like, because they could fit all of us in there,
right? Because they said people made them too big or something.
Yeah, but it wasn't that big. Like, I hate going to the beach and people are in my. I like my space.
And then they just laying out, and then it's just hot.
I like absorbing the sun. Yeah. Like I normally get like 4 shades. I'm already darker now, and I love.
It sounds like y'all about to take a beach trip too.
I am going to the beach in July. We do it with our family. It's like all the cousins get together and we go to the beach, and I look forward to it, but like I said, I'm gonna stay on the sand and stay in the sand and probably braid my children's hair because African Americans like.
Except if you go to Jamaica, they want to charge you to braid the hair.
Oh, I know how to braid. I would do my own hair, my children's hair. Like I can cornroll. Listen, I'm talented, but no, I do like I love nature. I love looking and observing things that only God can create.
Right.
It's like it's like a reset.
Yeah.
Like, so when you go to the beach, make sure you just look at the sunrise and you hear the waves crashing, and then just
put your cell phone down.
No cell phones. Or if you're going to have it, set it up where it's just recording, but you're not even on it. You need to put your phone on airplane mode. You don't need to respond to an email.
I'm transferring all my calls to you.
I'm going to test it. I'm going to text you, and if you respond and be like, you failed. You have failed because you responded.
You know how important I take tests.
I know, but you can't. You gotta. Everyone has to take a beat. I'm taking my beat in September because I'm going away in September. So. Well,
I'm going to test you in September.
Oh, there ain't gonna be a test now. Well, I'm lying because that's my one vacation I did answer, but it could be emergencies. But I feel like I have a great balance. I know when to say, all right,
this is it.
Yeah, and then when I'm with my kids. If they're paying attention to me, I give them my undivided attention. Now, if they're not worried about me, then I can take a phone call.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like the most important time for me is like I love taking my daughter to the park.
Yeah.
Like I love it.
Yeah, you're a good girl dad. Like when we were out yesterday and that dad, so we were out yesterday and this little girl lost like
oh my God,
a crown that goes on her head, like from what, Burger King?
Burger King, yeah.
And the way you were running in the street, I said, oh, that's a girl dad.
Yeah, I didn't even realize. Yeah, it just happened so fast.
Yeah, you were like, oh no.
Because you see her getting up. Like I'm
her
like,
her heart was hurting.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And I didn't want her to run in the street.
That was sweet.
And the dad wasn't going to make it.
No, he
wasn't going to make it.
He didn't even get up out the seat. He was like, no, don't worry about it. You already had God to.
Yeah. But
see, you're not old. Look at you. You got it like a spring.
I moved too.
Listen, I didn't hear no bones cracking.
That little girl was not getting hit by a car.
I know. What movie is that? I can't get, remember it was Pet Sematary.
Yes, Pet Sematary.
That is, so I hate when when there's cars coming down the street, I teach my children run to the house. Because I literally, that's why movies will muff up your
they
mind.
mess you up.
You can't watch it.
Somebody said, I was watching the inspirational speaker. he said he watched that movie. What was the crazy movie where the girl was on like the ceiling?
Was it Exorcism?
Exorcism.
Damn.
He said, man, I sat in my car for the whole. He said his wife came outside and was like, you need to come in. He said, somebody just turned the lights on while you out here.
That's what. Listen, I'm telling you, I don't watch any spirit movies. I'm gonna tell you why. I watch Paranormal Activity, and I remember Jay and I were dating when we watched it, and oh my gosh, I will never forget. We watched a movie, and at this time we had bought our first house, and we were working on getting it together, and we had this dartboard up because we were acting like we were college people, but the dartboard was up at where the fireplace was. Mind you, it had been there for weeks, and I'm not exaggerating. All of a sudden, in the middle of it falls, and I'm looking at it, and it falls, and I'm like, what the fudge? And I'm like, Jay, he's sleeping hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jay. I got so mad because he didn't wake up.
He was asleep.
I left and went home. Because at that time, we were still renting,
right?
And I lived with my mom and sister still.
Yeah,
I left him in the house by himself. I was petrified, and I didn't realize I didn't close the door all the way. And he called me. He's like, "Did you leave?" And I'm like, "Yes, I tried waking you up. There was something there." He was like, "So you left me here?
You tried me?"
He's like, "I tried to wake you up, and I got scared."
So he was in there with the ghost.
I didn't listen. I don't play with spirits anymore. So I was like, Lord. I'm not. No, we're not watching these movies. Inviting these spirits,
that's how my mom.
Because I be having dreams,
oh my God.
And I really think that God be talking to me. Like, what does my sister use the word? I'm clairvoyant or whatever.
Clairvoyant.
Yeah, but my dreams, they're they really, like, God really be talking to me.
Yeah, I believe that.
And so I was like, I don't play with.
So no Ouija board for you?
Heck no.
My mom would kill.
We never were allowed.
We were never allowed to do it.
I was barely allowed to watch the Smurfs.
Yeah, for some reason my brother, he used to always mess with her too.
Yeah,
he was like, "Yeah, mommy, I bought a Ouija board. You better not bring that thing in this
house." I remember we were foolish. Did you ever do? Oh my gosh, when you would go in the bathroom and
that Candy Man,
Bloody Mary.
Yeah. Don't do it, Nicole.
I'm not gonna do it 3 times. You gotta be in the mirror, right?
Oh my Bible.
But it's like, Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Grind.
Let's talk about it.